Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com, and there's been plenty of discussion, speculation, just general wonderment about the Bengals safety room with no Jesse Bates, no Von Bell, those guys signing elsewhere. The Bengals drafted Dax Hill with the 31st pick in the 2022 NFL draft, and I thought it was a good time to sit down with Dax, talk with him one-on-one about his offseason, about his training regimen, about the rest of the safeties in that room, from Nick Scott to Jordan Battle to Tyson Anderson. And then we have some fun at the end talking about a potential MMA matchup between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and so much more. So it's one of our long form interviews here on CBT, and we certainly hope you enjoy it. Without further ado, let's get to my one-on-one conversation with Bengals safety, Dax Hill. Let's welcome in Bengals safety, Dax Hill. Dax, I certainly appreciate the time. How has this offseason treated you thus far?
I appreciate you for having me first and foremost. It's been a long offseason. I was kind of everywhere. I was in Michigan. I was in Florida. My fiance, I proposed to my fiance now. But it was a busy offseason. So I enjoyed it for the most part, but got to do different things that I'm not used to doing. So it all turned out pretty good.
Let's talk about the proposal. Were you nervous? And does it compare to nerves before games? Because I'm sure every player gets at least a little nervous before big games. Is it comparable to that?
Not really. I kind of knew what I was going to say, but I didn't at the same time. And it was kind of just on a whim. I didn't really know how I was going to do it, but we ended up going out of the country, and first day we got there, I just decided to do it on that same night. So it wasn't as nerve-wracking, as a real game, but it's kind of close to it. But it turned out the way I wanted it to, so I guess it's all good. So.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if she says yes and you did it,
Right.
You were smart to do it at the beginning of the trip because it made for a good trip.
Right. We could both do it.
Yeah, that was a good strategy there by you for sure. I'll probably get into some more fun stuff here coming up in a bit, including your engagement. Congrats on that, by the way. That's certainly an exciting time. Let's talk about the offseason a little bit more. You said it's a long offseason. And before actually we get to that, let's talk about your rookie season, because when you were picked 31st overall, I think a lot of people within the organization thought you were going to be gone and not be available at that stage of the draft. I certainly did. And it was one of those things where it's like, oh man, Dax Hill fell into their laps. You didn't get to play much safety last year. It was a mixture of special teams, both cornerback spots. Obviously you did play safety at times. How challenging was your rookie season, given that it was a completely different role and you were behind two guys in Jesse Bates and Von Bell that were taking the majority of those safety snaps?
Yeah, it was a lot to, fathom, just because I didn't know what the rookie season was going to present to me, just being in the NFL and, totally different from being in college. I knew it was a different type of ball game, but football is football at the end of the day. But, in terms of just playing different positions, I enjoyed playing different positions, and I didn't really expect it to go the way it was, but I'm grateful for it. Just the opportunities I had, like you said, on special teams, and whenever I was in on defense, I'm appreciative, for the things I did do while I was on the field. So it was, highs and lows throughout the season. It wasn't ideal for me, but definitely I could, have a lot of takeaways from my rookie season.
Let's talk about some of those takeaways, because I can't think of, and Dave Lapham's the one, I'll give him credit for putting it in perspective earlier in the offseason. He was like, how many guys, I think it was at the combine, he was talking to Lou, or maybe it was at the stadium, I can't remember, but like you said, long offseason. But he brought up the fact that you're taking snaps at three different positions. And I'll say these words, you were yanked around a bit. And it was because you were on a contending team, and they had guys ahead of you like Bates and Bell that they trusted at those spots. And so you had to play, due to injury, a few different spots. Has that ever happened? Obviously, you were known for your versatility, but is the benefit now having a better understanding of the defense? Is that the biggest edge that you get from that rookie year where you're kind of moving all around?
Yeah, I feel like that's like the biggest takeaway that I, can take from my rookie season. Not really knowing like I said, what I was going to do, but being thrown in those different positions allows me to, feel more comfortable and allow myself to, be more confident and more fluid out there on the field. So I feel like that's like the biggest thing that I feel like, just having a positive mindset about it because, not coming in and, not going it the way you want it to, you have to find that positivity somewhere. So I feel like that's what I take away from it. But I've never been, in this situation I have, but not quite like it in terms of, someone going down and, being, on strings, not knowing where exactly I'm going to be at. So I am versatile, but just the way it went down, that's something I'm not used to or wasn't used to. So, but it was all good. Like, I can, whatever I can do, I'm going to do it. So.
Yeah, there aren't many 5-star top safety Gatorade player of the years that get moved around. They get put in the spot. I think, I mean, was there ever a time where, and I get it, you're versatile, where that was even remotely a possibility? Was it always safety? I know you played corner some, in part of the safety's responsibility can be the nickel, but
Mhm.
overall, you played safety, right? And so that was a pretty big change.
I feel like it was just really a God-given talent. Just whenever I started playing football, I could play offense, defense, whatever that may be. Um, I feel like that was more of just how I was as a player. So whatever position that was, like actually playing on the field, um, it would be like I could play it, but it would take time for me to get acclimated to that position. If say it was someone else, I'm not trying to compare myself to anyone else, but say if someone else came in and was at a different spot, not expecting to play a certain spot, they probably wouldn't been able to adjust to that new position. So
Mhm.
it's just different perspectives you have to um, keep in mind while you're doing while you're playing football. So I try to keep an open mind and just have fun with it as much as I can.
Let's get into the offseason a bit. I certainly noticed the first time I saw you when you were back that you were a little more cut, had maybe a little bit more muscle. You
Uh,
mentioned that. Is that goal number one? What are your list of offseason goals, and what are you doing to add weight?
um, I'm really just keeping the same schedule. I don't really try to put pressure on myself to I have to be this weight or I have to look a certain way coming up this season. Like I just always try to be myself in terms of how I approach like the off season or just working out in general. So I just wanted to do a little bit more in terms of just how I trained and looking a little bit different. I just wanted to see a change from rookie season to my second year. So it was really kind of just I wanted to improve. Um,
Hmm.
all in all, like it wasn't like I had to look a certain way, but just really just seeking improvement.
What's your weight training schedule look like? Your workout schedule? Like what do you do and when do you do it?
Like during the off season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
During the off season, it was so I was in Tampa for about a month, so that schedule was about 4 days a week. I would train an hour and a half each day, and then that fifth day, I would either be doing some type of recovery or some type of massage, making sure my bones and muscles, all that's intact. So it wasn't a lot during the week because I didn't really want to put a lot of uh, just a lot of different workouts, and I just wanted to make it all fit to what I wanted to do. So it wasn't a
Sure.
lot. It was good work at the same time.
What do you do? Like I love working out and so I'm into this. So sorry that I'm peppering you with questions here, but like Are you going in and squatting a ton? Obviously, there's a video of Jamar where he's power cleaning. A lot of guys go into the weight room and bench press. But what do professional safeties do? Because I'm sure it's different than what the average person is doing at the gym.
I can't really speak for other safeties, but for myself, I try to just have a good combination of upper body and lower body strength. Whatever, I train with a great trainer down in Tampa, so I was kind of really just on his schedule and what I communicated with him in terms of what I wanted. But it was kind of just more of a focal point of just focusing on my lower body. My upper body is always going to be there, but my lower body is something that I've always not had issues with, but knew I could, critique a little bit more on my lower body end. So that was kind of what that was.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. Leg day.
Yeah,
leg day, right? Nothing.
Had a body looking stronger than the lower body. So,
what would, just looking ahead to this season, and obviously you're at the stadium training through this offseason and activities and stuff like that right now with the team. But what would an ideal 2023 season look like for you? Obviously, you want to win a Super Bowl team-wise, win the division, get a first-round bye, all of those things. But individually, I know it wasn't ideal as a rookie. This year, it looks different. Feels like you're going to play much more on defense. What's an ideal season for Dax Hill?
Really just competing at a high level. Every week, or whenever I was in high school, college, whenever I started playing football, it was really just competing at a high level. Not really, setting I really don't even have goals right now. That's a bad thing, but I'm gonna eventually get to that point where I'm gonna set goals for myself for the season. But really just competing with my teammates, my new teammates that came in, and really just being a contributor. Just doing the best I can, for the team, being a team player, and not really just focusing on myself, but like you said, Super Bowl and all that's good, but really just doing whatever I can just to help the team.
Let's talk about some of those teammates, because this secondary it's getting younger and younger. Guys, I certainly think you're familiar with. Let's start with your college teammate, DJ Turner, Juan Drago, who that's like the coolest name ever, I would say, for a football player. What do you call DJ?
Sometimes I call him DJ. Sometimes I call him Drago. Just different names. Whatever comes to mind. There's so many different things you can call him nowadays. I mean, a lot of people didn't even know that was his name. It came at me. They were like, "That's his real name." I'm like, "Yeah, that's his real name." I'm like, "You might as well ask him for yourself." Like, he right there. Like, but yeah, his name is all over the place around the locker room now. So
he brings the speed, 4.26. You bring the speed, right? I know it was a little. I don't even want to say slower, but it was sub 4.4. Wait, did you run a 4.38? I think
something like that.
Have you ever beat him in a race?
We've never raced, so that's something we have to tune in to probably here in the next year. Somebody.
You think you could?
Something like that, huh?
Do you think you could beat him in a race?
I feel like I didn't even run my fastest though. For some reason, I felt slow that day. It was a long combine, so I felt like I was a little bit slower. But I'll give it to him. Like I didn't even know he was that fast, so I'll give it to him. So it should be a good race if that ever happens.
Yeah, it would be, I think. And that's what stands out to me about the secondary now is just all of the speed. Obviously, you know how good of an athlete Cheeto is, and you saw it firsthand last year. You bring speed. Nick Scott certainly does. You have Drago as well. And then, honestly, Tyson ran 4.36, and we didn't see him at all last year. And I think that's one of the things for fans that's kind of goes under the radar, because Jordan Battle was a third rounder. You're obviously a first rounder. Tyson Anderson, the Bengals traded up for last year. What have you seen from him? Obviously, your lockers are right next to each other. What have you seen from him? I want you to be able to give fans a little insight into Tyson Anderson, because I certainly think he's going to be a big part of that safety room.
Yeah, definitely under the radar coming in. Coming in at rookies. he was a hard worker, in the weight room. And I don't want to speak for him, but this offseason, I feel like I've seen a major jump from, his strength, just from working out in the offseason, now that we all are back together, just seeing that improvement. But I mean, like you said, he's always been fast. He's always been an athlete. And and then just talking to him, I mean, he's always had a good work ethic and, has a love for the game. Whenever I see him in the weight room or the meeting room, he's always locked in. A good guy, outside of football. Someone you can, love to be around. I'm obviously right next to his locker every day, so just talking to him and getting to know him and just who he's about and what he's about. So his name is not really out there like that, but time will tell with him, and I feel like his ceiling is pretty high. So.
And then let's go from Tyson to Jordan. And coming out, you guys are in the same high school class, I believe, and you're the top 2 ranked safeties, if my research is correct. How well did you know Jordan Battle before he was picked?
I didn't really know him too much. I knew he was going to Alabama whenever I was considering going there. But that's as far as I know, about his his life before now. But so I don't really know him, but he's right next to me, opposite of Tyson. So I feel like us 3 right next to each other would be something special and something to look forward to.
Yeah. Does it feel like you 3, along with Nick? Nick isn't old. You guys are just really young. He's what, 27, 28? He just had a birthday, so it's not like he's old by any stretch. But does it feel like that's not just the future of the safety room, but having lost 2 vets in the offseason, that you guys can hold down the fort and be able to play at a high level as a collective group? I know you don't know exactly how it's going to look yet. I don't think anyone necessarily does. But do you get that feeling being around those guys and obviously along with yourself and your talent?
Yeah, I mean, I just enjoy like everyone that's in the group right now. I mean, whether it's Nick or all the young guys, to the corners, all the corners. I feel like we all complement each other. We all have different type of games, but I feel like it all blend together. Once we all come together. So no matter the age or how long people's been in the field, 1 year, 2 years, 7 years, like I feel like that doesn't matter. Because Coach Anarumo, I feel like he'll do a good job, with all of us and figuring something out for the season. So,
all right, we've gotten through a lot of the football stuff, a lot of the what are your goals, and me peppering you with weightlifting questions. Let's get to a few fun things that I'm going to try to keep you on your toes here. Nothing too surprising that you probably haven't asked or been asked, except for this one, because Ja'Marr Chase said during Super Bowl week when he was doing his media tour that Joe Burrow tries UFC MMA moves on him. And we followed up with Joe in the locker room. And we followed up with Joe this past week and asked, and he implied that he did. And Ja'Marr said he does all the time, kicks, punches, all of those things. Have you witnessed that? Has Joe tried that on you? How often of an occurrence is that in the locker room?
I've never seen him do that. Like I'm surprised to even hear that that to even come from your mouth. Like I didn't even know like that would be something Joe would do. But actually, Joe, he recently did something to me, but like I'm not gonna tell it because I don't know if it's appropriate for it. It's nothing like crazy or anything like that. But I can see now that you said that, I can see like where that comes from. So I can definitely like see him doing something like that. But no, I haven't seen him do it though.
All right. And I'll give you my answer here too, to be fair. If you had to wager, and they're both your teammates, they've both been your teammate for a year, so I think it's fair. It's an even playing field. A 3-round MMA match, Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase. Who you taking?
Man. MMA.
MMA, not boxing. MMA.
Yeah.
So
about to say, I'm like, MMA is a little bit different than boxing. I don't know. That's a tough one. Because I know, I mean, they both can move. I mean, they both definitely may have some moves. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I've seen Joe at different MMA fights
Mhm.
before, so I feel like he has a little bit more in his game. So maybe Joe. I don't know.
Wow. All right, let me give you my theory because I'm rolling with Jamar. And
Joe.
I, I I put it on Twitter, by the way, and it was like a 50-50 split. So it's interesting to see that. But here's my theory. I agree. I think Joe pays attention much, much more.
Right.
I think Jamar Chase is from another planet athletically
Right.
compared
That's
to Joe.
different. I feel like Joe has the knowledge, and then Jamar, he'll just be out there doing whatever, freestyle, figure out
That's
someone.
right. Yeah, it would obviously that's not something anybody, certainly Bengals fans want to see, but I think it's a fun hypothetical. I had to get your thoughts. So you roll with Joe Burrow. See, it's always safe to roll with the quarterback.
Right.
You know, that's always the safe one.
Franchise, I might as well
Uh,
just do.
that's right. Yeah, franchise might as well do it. But just for the record, I'll take Jamar. I can't wait to run that by them. I haven't been able to yet, but I'm certainly going to. Uh, it's something just to follow. I was talking with you and Tyson the other day in the locker room, and you talked about shooting, and obviously a lot of the players will shoot basketball in some downtime, and we know about the ping pong. Fans love the ping pong and cards and all of that stuff when we talk about that. Who do you think the best shooter is on the team that you've seen?
What I've seen, uh, obviously everyone knows about T. Higgins because he was a basketball player.
Yeah.
But I think the guy that I recently seen is Irv Smith. I was just shooting with him a few weeks ago, and I mean he's a lefty. You know, lefties are kind of different, like on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had a conversation with him. He grew up playing basketball too, so I got to give it to Irv Smith. He got a little stroke on him.
Gotcha. Irv Smith. See, I wouldn't have guessed that. That's learned something new about one of the Bengals. And I'm also telling Tyson that you didn't pick him. So he's going to be.
He knows
He's going
like
to be.
I'm the better player out of him, so so
He knows. Who would you compare your game to if you had to compare your game to a pro? Your basketball game.
whenever I did play, I got a lot of comparisons to Dwyane Wade. Um, I was more of a facilitator, and I had like a nice little pump fake on me. Like I could draw a lot of fouls, so I was on the free throw line a lot, and I had a good free throw percentage. So I would say Dwyane Wade.
See, you're speaking my language, Dax. I didn't know that. He's my favorite player of all time.
Really,
Like,
I did.
like there's a Dwyane Wade autograph photo right there. It's not in my backdrop, but it's right over here. Like,
You don't really
man.
hear you don't hear about Dwyane Wade. You either hear like KD, MJ, So that's interesting that you said that. I mean, I'm a big fan of his too. So
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to check out some Dax Hill highlights if that's how you played, man. The
I don't know.
slasher that gets to
I
the
don't know
rim. Yeah,
if they're on the internet now. You might have to look it up.
yeah, I have to check it out. All right, just a few more fun ones here, and this is more of a getting to know Dax segment, just because. Well, I don't know if anyone's asked you these questions. Certainly since you were drafted, maybe back at Michigan, but just some quick hitters here. What is your favorite TV show?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm
Got
big.
it. See, were you even old enough to watch Fresh Prince, or you watch reruns?
I still watch the reruns,
Okay.
HBO or something like that. Like I try to tune in whenever I can. It's
Yeah.
either
No,
Fresh or Martin though. It's like I don't know. It's kind of tied between those two.
you said
Fresh
Fresh Prince or Martin?
Martin, yeah, I'm a big
Yeah.
Martin.
I watched both of the see, those are both 90s shows. So you weren't even born until 2000. I like that.
I don't know. It's just something about those '90s. I mean, the '90s TV shows I kind of like. So those
I
two
agree with you.
are my favorite picks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I both were on when I was growing up. I haven't watched them recently, but definitely seen my fair share of both.
hmm
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
It's between I don't know because I'm always like changing my flavors, but it's either butter pecan or vanilla. I've been eating a lot more butter pecan lately, so I'll probably give it to butter pecan. I'm really not even supposed
Gotcha.
to eat ice cream, but I still eat it. I,
You can once in a while. You're young. You can still do that.
in moderation. You hear me right now? I got sinus going on, so I don't know. Like when I eat a lot of ice cream, I can't really eat a lot, but whenever I do, it's Butter pecan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
As far as food, we'll just stick with that theme. You've been in Cincinnati for roughly a year. I know it's not a full year, and you were trying to settle down, find a place, all of those things.
Mhm.
But do you have a favorite restaurant in town?
I just came across this restaurant like a few days ago. Me and my fiance, we went to Mrlb. It's in Kentucky, right by the water. It's like a nice steakhouse. Um, I really enjoyed it. I mean, what did I get? I think the chicken was pretty good there. Um, Chicken, and I think my fiance got like a steak or something like that. Uh, but I enjoyed it. I think I like it a little bit better than Jeff Ruby's. Jeff Ruby's is up there on my top two, but MRLB tasted pretty good too. So
I have not been there, so I'm gonna have to check it out. And I've lived here a lot longer than you. So
yeah,
MRLB Steakhouse. There we
uh,
go. I'm gonna have to check it out. And it's on the water too. So that means it's
right. That's a nice.
it's close to downtown.
You go up like to the like third or fourth floor, and then you can have like a nice view of the bridges and the city. So I suggest you go check it out.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. We'll do that. And all right, two more.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a favorite hobby outside of obviously playing football?
Recently, it's been golf. I've been trying to get my a little bit better. Been going to the range. I went to the range yesterday, but I went to the course like a week or two ago with some of the teammates. So I've been trying to get right with golfing, man. Like that's like the talk around the locker room. So I've been trying to get my game up.
Who's the best golfer on the team?
I heard Evan McPherson, but I haven't really seen it, so I'm gonna have to see. But I've heard a lot of Evan McPherson's, like, around the locker room. So, and then Nick Scott is pretty good too. Nick Scott and Trent Irwin, I give it to those guys too. Like, they were pretty good. Like, they kind of
Yeah, those kickers. Go ahead, Dax. Sorry.
Motivated me to get my game better.
Gotcha. Yeah, those kickers, Darren Simmons, anytime he's talking special teams, he references golf. So I'm not shocked to hear Evan McPherson's name in that mix. I stink at golf, all of it. Topgolf. I'm okay at putt-putt, but that's about it.
Got to be good at putt-putt, man. Everybody used to go on them putt-putt days, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you win? Would you beat your fiance in putt-putt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, easy. Easy. That's like that's easy work.
Last one. What's your favorite video game? Assuming you play video games. I'm going on a whim here that you do.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty. Like, I grew up playing Call of Duty. Like, my friends, like, I'll be up sun up to sundown playing Call of Duty.
Are you nice? Are you pretty good?
I'm pretty good. I haven't been on it a lot. I've been on it, here and there. But I was actually like a good quick scoper. You know what a quick scoping, like, what quick scoping is? Yeah, I was actually pretty good at that. So I was kind of like a fiend for it for like years. I'm still in, but I try not to get on it, a lot now. But like a big Call of Duty fan growing up. So
you play against some teammates, I would imagine, right?
yeah, teammates sometimes, but I play with some of my homies back home, like people I grew up playing with. I still play with to this day. So
there's nothing better than that because it takes you back doing
right.
Because I don't have time for video games much, but when I do that, it's with guys from high school and college usually.
Right.
And it's like you pick up where you left off. Yeah.
Right. You already know everyone's game. I mean, sometimes you got to carry the squad. Someone else will carry the squad. So it's like, have all the game back together. I mean, shoot, I'm for it.
For sure. Well, Dax, this has been a lot of fun. I hope our all of our viewers feel like they know you better. I thought that was part of the goal here was to introduce Dax Hill because, well, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of 23 this season in the Bengals secondary. So I appreciate the time. I can't wait to tell Jamar that you think Joe Burrow would beat him up. And I'm just kidding. And
you, man.
no, I appreciate it though, Dax. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you for having me.